Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers.
G'day everybody, where's Wally here? Well, Nick was at it again today, full force. He wanted to talk to us about curves, and man, for the first 15 minutes, so much deceptive language. All these little emotive words like, oh yes, the Emperor's new clothes, you can see them, can't you? Yes, everyone who's woke is well awake to that sort of trickery, Nick, the third cigarette lighter and all that.
Here's an instantly recognizable image. We all know this as our home, the Earth. And this is a sign of our intelligence, being able to perceive the Earth as a globe, because we've never actually seen it with our own eyes in this way. But we're smart enough to be able to perceive it that way. And this is obviously helped by the fact that we have the smarts to perceive it in this way. And of course, it would be ridiculous and stupid to question whether this is in fact true. I mean, you know, when we were kids, we all had a little bit of a laugh about being on the top or on the bottom, and we even call Australia down under, and we find it kind of funny that we don't fall off the bottom of this globe, because it allows us to perceive and believe what would otherwise be whatever we are, to be able to perceive this without ever actually to perceive this, be able to perceive and to be able to perceive, use our perception. We already perceive to perceive it this way. And just in the same way that nobody can show you a full view of the globe Earth.
Well, hold on, Nick. You said no photos? No one's seen it from space? What about the millions, literally millions of photos of the Earth taken from space?
A flat earther cannot show you a full view of the flat Earth. We can perceive it if we allow ourselves to do so. And of course, another problem that people have when it comes to discussing the differences between this subjective and objective view is this whole idea of level. Now, we agreed early on that these lines are parallel, horizontal, flat, straight, level, and we can go ahead and we can measure the difference. Again, this chap here could take a spirit level, or he could measure the difference in height along these lines, and nothing would change because he or she is on a level surface, and whatever is above that person is also at a consistent height above the surface. There is nothing changes. So of course, if we were to introduce something like this, a curved surface,
Then we start getting to the good stuff, where he shows us some nice straight lines and how, of course, you can see everything. But then when he goes to use curvy lines on a globe, he uses this tiny little globe. A bit of a straw man coming up, I fear. But of course, if you're really going to show the curve properly, that curve is going to be dropping away from you at about a rate of, you know it, 1 degree every 60 nautical miles, so 111 kilometres for 1 degree. Not that thing that you've got there, Nick.
and perception to perceive. Just get some water and pour it on the floor, and this would tell that person whether the floor is level or curving away from them, because of course water always flows downhill or down a curve, or even we could say to a lower elevation. And so of course, with this person here being on top of this curved surface, then everything beyond that person is of a lower elevation. Let's just take away the parallel lines here, yeah? So of course, in the realms of our physical reality, if we're looking at this scenario, we know that if this person dropped a ball or dropped some water,
Okay, we'll sit on your hands for this one, guys, because at this point it's going to be funny.
Change. We are faced with a problem that, well, the water should flow away from this individual on top of the globe, because everywhere beyond that person is going to be a lower elevation.
Did you get that? So the water is going to run away from your feet. If you're on a globe and you drop the water at your feet, it's going to flow away from you. Seriously, Nick, do you even understand how a globe works? We have this thing called gravity which stops all that. Okay, let's just imagine we've got gravity acting at a different angle here, parallel, tangential, perpendicular, that's the word, perpendicular to the surface as the surface curves around. That's going to hold the water nice and still at an angle. Can you not even grasp that? Are you not woke enough to understand that, Nick?
You perceive, we are looking into this bulge of curvature.
No, Nick, let me stop you there. The bulge does not rise up in front of us because we know the horizon never rises to eye line anyway. It is always below level.
Perception, believe that we live on a globe, then we have to say that, oh, well, this person goes down here, okay? So for this person now, level is not the same as the level of these blue lines. On the flat surface, everything was fine. Everything was level. But for this person who's gone down an imaginary curve, we have to change the meaning of level. And all of a sudden, level has to become perpendicular to the vertical towards the center of this imagined spherical Earth.
Oh, for those of you with this calculator here, let me fix it. I'll rotate it so you can see it in a two-dimensional sort of way. There you go. Now you can see where the actual parallel lines are still parallel to the surface, hey?
So let's just have a look at it in this way. Let's go back to our globe. And I'm really hoping for a concise and clear answer from all those smart chaps out there who just know that we're on a globe and are able to perceive it, because that's, of course, how we've been taught all our lives. And what we'll do is we've got a straight line here, all right, and a curved line here. So the straight line, the straight line just goes off on a horizontal level from our objective view of the Earth. There is no denying that this line here, this blue line, is level.
Hold on, Nick, I'm going to stop you there. The blue line is a tangent. It's not level, not to the sphere. The red line is level. It maintains level. See, it's just got to be perpendicular. Sorry, it's got to be horizontal to the surface, parallel to the surface. So it's just the red line.
It's flat, it's horizontal, just like the blue lines we saw just now. There is no deception going on here with this idea that this line is horizontal and level. But what happens when we follow a curved path? It's a really simple question. Which of these lines is level in this objective view of the Earth?
It's the red line, Nick, the red pill. Look at the red line.
Now again, if we're on the top of this Earth, we are at a higher elevation than someone down here. And we know that water will flow down to a lower elevation. So it can be a curve or a hill or a higher or lower elevation, and water will flow. That's the physical properties of water. All right, so I'm looking forward to some brilliant technical, physical, demonstrable proof in the way of answers from all these smart people who have the cognitive ability to perceive ourselves as being on a globe and also bring the proof to the table.
And for those playing at home, the word salad bingo, I think perceive is the word of the day. I think it got the highest count in the whole thing, closely followed by objective and subjective. Well, there you have it, folks. Finally, we see yet again that Nick really has no idea how reality actually works. And yes, and Tricky Nicky really has used perceive quite a few times this episode, and I guess that was a very deliberate attempt to make us think that if we did go along with what he was saying, that we were the ones who were able to perceive it. We're special. Okay, so if you like that, how about you click and share and subscribe and be the first to get in on the next fun little adventure into destroying the flat earth. Don't try this at home, kiddies. Ow. Oh, homegrown tattoo. How's that?